welcome again to Laird Wellness.
Hello.
Sorry about last night. My goodness. Okay, so what happened was Jody got a call, and one of the coaches she works with, one of the young coaches, had a car accident. Just a kid. She's like, what, 19, 20 years old?
Yep,
20 years old. So she didn't have any friends or family nearby, and she said, someone came to help her and said, who should I call? And she says, call my Coach Jody. Calls Jody my boss, or whoever she is to you.
Yep.
So we got this call. Didn't know how extensive it was or anything. Anyway, we get there. Both cars are totaled. It's a little, Prius and a Kia Soul. Both are just smashed to heck. Both girls are just fine. There's no broken bones or anything. Well, they smacked their heads a little bit, and we think there's some concussions involved.
And also today, the girl from the other vehicle was admitted to the hospital with a brain bleed. So, we would appreciate prayers for both of them.
Okay. Do you know Brooke is one of them? Who's the other one?
Brooke is our girl, and I do not know the name of the other girl.
Okay.
But both 20-year-old girls, we didn't know what we were going to get into when we got there, and thank the Lord, thank you, Yahweh, that both girls are okay. But yes, I would appreciate prayers for the one girl who was in the other vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, on to other things. President Trump has COVID.
And his wife.
And his wife, and an aide, apparently, that they have there. So what needs to do? He needs to do vitamin D. If you were watching last night, that's what he needs to do, because vitamin D, we're going to do a quick little review here. First of all, this thing is not news. So this is, first of all, what we were kind of complaining about yesterday. Check this out. September 27th, Boston University was saying that, hey, sufficient levels of vitamin D significantly reduces complications and death among COVID-19 patients. And we were like, yeah, that's not news, because I'll tell you why. Because of this thing right here, April 2nd in PubMed, that evidence was already there with specific relation to COVID-19. They're just talking about it right there, and they said that that it helps reduce helps the immune system reduce the chance of having a cytokine storm.
Yeah.
So that is that's the big thing that actually gets people in trouble with COVID-19. So that's how the vitamin D helps the immune system there. And then there was this other thing that we brought up, and it was this one. And this was from it was a press release from April 9 that likely used the April 2nd data from PubMed to come up with this. And it was basically the same thing, that vitamin D supplements can reduce influenza and COVID-19 infection and death. Now, influenza, we should focus on that, because even if COVID-19 is not a big deal, it can still help with other things, because vitamin D helps your immune system altogether. Because what it does is it's the most important fat-soluble vitamin. There's two kinds of vitamins. There's fat-soluble vitamins, and
You're going really fast, because this is a review from last night.
I didn't want to go too long, but I'm going too fast. Okay.
Yeah.
So vitamin D, there's two types of vitamins. There are fat-soluble vitamins and water-soluble vitamins. Water-soluble vitamins are vitamins like all the Bs, so B1, B2, B9, B3, B6, B12. All of those your body needs every day, because it uses it, and what it doesn't use, it excretes, and then it says, more please, I'm not going to hang on to any of this.
Right. So if we're not getting them every day, what are we doing?
You're getting deficient.
Correct.
And that little thing on the back of the label of every vitamin that says 100% of the recommended daily intake is just enough to keep you alive. That's not a therapeutic dose. That's just enough to say, okay, you can probably skim by today and make it, and none of your organs are going to start to fail on you. So,
and that's an exaggeration.
That's an exaggeration.
But what it does is it basically, when your cells regenerate, and if you're not getting the vitamins and minerals you need while your cells are dying and regenerating, you are creating cells that are just not
getting inferior cells instead of superior cells.
And then that's when disease develops over time.
Right, because what disease is basically degenerating cells.
Correct.
And degenerating cells happen because of inflammation, and inflammation is caused by two things: toxicity and deficiency.
Yes.
And it's that fight in your body to keep the body going, and that fight is what causes. You think of a fight causes friction. Friction causes heat. Heat causes inflammation, right? Okay, so just think about that. You don't want to make the body fight. Making the body fight is a bad thing. Well, sometimes a fever can be a good thing, because a fever is not really a good thing. It's an indication that your body is fighting something and that your body's systems are working.
Right.
Right. So it's like a hot engine in a car. The engine's hot doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It means it's working, but you have to keep it at bay, otherwise it can cause problems.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So same kind of thing.
Okay.
So now, vitamin D is extremely important because it helps the immune system. It helps all kinds of factors of the immune system, but it is actually the most, we were talking about, let's go back to the fat-soluble, water-soluble vitamins. The most important water-soluble vitamin is, of course, vitamin C. Everybody knows that one. And it becomes even better when you make it react like a fat-soluble vitamin, which the body hangs on to and releases as it needs because it stores in the fat cells. That's why it's called a fat-soluble vitamin. So liposomal vitamin C is actually a water-soluble vitamin that is treated with liposomes and liposomes, lipo, fat, that makes it act more like a fat-soluble vitamin.
That's the best way you've ever described it, because I was always wondering why it was better, but now I totally get it, because it's making it more like a fat-soluble vitamin, so it hangs on longer and therefore is able to penetrate the cells better.
Right, because the cells have a have a fat membrane around them themselves. So it's kind of like, you think oil and water, right? Oil and water don't mix. So in the fat membrane around each one of your cells are these little channels, if you will, little doorways called protein channels. And only specific protein channels will allow the vitamin C to come in.
Got it.
As a water-soluble vitamin. But if you make it fat-soluble, now it's kind of like oil and oil instead of oil and water. So now it just sort of melds in, and it absorbs a heck of a lot better. And that's why liposomal vitamin C is so good.
That's why you need fat in your diet, though. But if you don't get the fat, the good fats, you're not going to be able to keep those cells as healthy as they should be.
Right. That's why you need healthy fats. Yep.
So people who are absolutely low fat and no fat, not good.
No, that's right. That's right. And now you don't have to do oils to get fat.
No.
Fat and good fats, because there's
a
lot of
do some of the bad oils.
Right, and there's several doctors out there, most notably Caldwell Esselstyn, who says absolutely no oils.
And McDougall.
McDougall, he does some, but the raw foodists and stuff out there say, yeah, no oils. Why would you want to do that? And it's especially true if you have heart disease. Bill Clinton reversed his heart disease side by side with Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. Dr. Esselstyn was his personal doctor to help him through that. Right. And that's what they did. No oils at all. And you can get lots of fat through coconuts. You don't have to do coconut oil. You can get them through avocados. That's one we really lean on.
We live on those.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, the thing that we're doing that we're going to tell you about in detail one day here is really considers avocados a free food. Even though you're kind of counting your food and really watching what you're doing during this thing, avocados are quote unquote free because they're so good for you and they have good fats and everything and good protein. And
I definitely take advantage of them.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, we go through avocados like nothing. So when they go on sale for 59 cents at Walmart, woohoo! Oh, speaking of which, okay, we said we are going to bring this up because it's happening at our place, and I want to know if it's happening at your place.
Yeah, let us know.
So on the very day that our president gets COVID-19, Walmart decides to take down all the banners, take down all the gazebos outside, everything to do with masks. They've taken off the tape on the floor. No more one-way aisles or anything. It's back to normal as if nothing had ever happened.
And 2 entrances. I got to go in the other door today.
Yeah, and I was like, what is going on here? And I asked one of the cashiers, I said, what's going on? They said, head office told us just take everything down.
5 o'clock today.
Okay.
Well, 5 o'clock today, North Carolina goes into phase 3. I read about what that actually means, and really it doesn't mean any change at all. So that tells me that that's a little bit interesting because Walmart's changing, even though phase 3 doesn't really say much of a change.
Right. Interesting. Anyway, back to our D3K2.
Okay.
So now you'll notice the website we've put here at the bottom of the screen. If you go there, this will take you directly to this little guy right here, vitamin D3 with K2. Now, we have always talked about this one here from Billy Weiss, our friend, the pharmacist friend who likes to get you off drugs and onto proper supplements and a better lifestyle. So this is the one we always said, take it once a week and you're good because there's 50,000 IU per. And you can still do that.
And I still do.
Yeah, we still do.
I really want to make sure my vitamin D levels are good, and everybody should know their vitamin D levels.
Right. Now, we'll get into that as well in a second.
Yeah, because you called LabCorp. We mentioned that last night, but for those of us who didn't watch last night, you can ask for a vitamin D test, and you should. And they're about $50. A $50 add-on, or if you have great insurance, well, great. I don't know, maybe it's covered, but it's so worth it to know your vitamin D levels. Absolutely.
Yeah. And we also mentioned last night the reason why we said covered by most, and we don't really know because we're not on insurance. We do something called Samaritan Ministries. And no, they don't pay us or anything for talking about that.
No,
but they're just great. I mean, if you're looking for a health insurance that is affordable for our whole family, you can do like a family of 3 people to 8 people, and it's all the same price. It's like $530 a month with essentially a deductible of $300 if something happens. Really, that's the way it works.
It's fantastic.
And all it is you basically every month you get a letter, and the letter says, "Hey, Scott, this month, Mrs. Jones broke her leg. Send your $530 to Mrs. Jones." So you are literally getting, when something happens to you, personal checks from people in the mail that you just go in cash and pay for your stuff with cash. It's so easy. It's just a little honor. It's just a co-op. It's really all it is a co-op.
It's on your honor, but the people that are involved don't want to not be involved, so they go ahead and do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
We've never not had anybody not send the check
and the reason why is you also, if you're one of those people that's injured and you're getting these checks, then you also get a list of who is supposed to be sending you money. And if they don't send you money, you report them to Samaritan Ministries. And if you report them and they don't pay, they get kicked out of the program. And they don't want to be kicked out of this great program. So that's why everybody just keeps on their honor. It's a great, great system. Anyway,
it is.
So vitamin D3, K2, why would you want to switch to something like this? Well, you don't switch. Here's what we're going to suggest tonight. We suggest you keep one of these bottles on hand so that if you start to feel ill, just start piling up on this. Instead of one a week, you do one a day. That's what Billy Weiss told me that he does. Now, I'm not prescribing here. I'm just telling you what Billy Weiss does, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang on to this and do this. If something starts to happen, we start to feel like scratchy throat or, uh-oh, I feel a little oozy, this is not good, then you take one of these every day. That's what I'm going to do. I will take one of these every day until it knocks it out, because vitamin D is so powerful. We can't cover tonight how many things vitamin D does for the immune system. And then vitamin D3, K2 is something you take every day. Now, this is from Halea Diet. We carry both of these, by the way. And this link at the bottom of the screen will lead you to this one. And this has 5,000 IU, which you can do safely every day with K2. Now, a couple more things about D3, and then we're going to get into K2, because that's the point we were just about to get to last night when we had to take off. So vitamin D3, what does it do? Well, first of all, you might have trouble absorbing vitamin D3, and that's why you need to check and make sure you're getting yourself healthy, okay? If you have gut issues, make sure you're doing a probiotic and then do your vitamin D3 so your gut can absorb it. If you're overweight, you're not going to be able to absorb vitamin D3 because it doesn't work very well with obesity, because there's just too much fat, believe it or not, especially subcutaneous fat. So it's not going to work well with that. Of course, your skin color. If you're going to try and get vitamin D3 from the sunlight, which of course you can. We're getting to the end of those days because we're heading into fall and winter here in the Northern Hemisphere, and so that is not going to work for you very well for very long, especially once the sun gets to a certain angle in the sky. If it has to pass through too much, say for example, here's the world, right? And the sun's up here. It doesn't have to pass through much atmosphere to get to the surface.
Correct.
Once it starts coming over here, you can imagine now that it's passing through a lot more of the atmosphere to get to the surface. When it does that, all of a sudden the beneficial rays that will cause the cholesterol in your skin to convert to vitamin D, now that doesn't happen. Those rays don't get through because they get caught up in the atmosphere.
Not to mention, there's so much literature out there now that says to stay out of the sun completely. And we are all wearing sunscreens every day and everything like that. So we are not getting the vitamin D from the sun that we should be getting anyways, no matter what season it is.
Exactly.
So we need to supplement.
Yep, exactly. And one thing more I was going to tell you about with that is when you do get out in the sun, at a good time, and you do get some sun or some some sun on your skin, and make sure you don't burn. You don't ever want to burn. Burning is never a good thing. Okay, but you don't want to. If you want the vitamin D to absorb, try not to shower with soap on the areas of your skin, like say your torso, your arms, and that kind of thing. Of course, you want to wash the important parts, but try and leave the soap off of the larger patches of skin where the sun was hitting, because if you washed off the oils, you're washing off the cholesterol before it can be converted to vitamin D, and you're going to basically wash off your chance of getting the vitamin D into your system.
Right.
So there's a little tip for you.
Right.
Chronic inflammation is also going to reduce vitamin D3, because you think about it, vitamin D3 helps the immune system, right? Well, if you have chronic inflammation, the immune system's always busy, so it's always sucking up that vitamin D3. So you're going to have to take more. Also, any kind of disease thing going on, for example, COVID-19, or if you've got a flu or a cold or anything like that, of course, it's going to suck up the vitamin D, because the vitamin D is basically the fuel for your immune system. Vitamin D and vitamin C are kind of like the fuels for your immune system. And vitamin K2 is kind of like the nitrous oxide, the booster.
Right.
The little booster button.
I sure hope that President Trump is working with a good doctor.
I hope so too.
I really
hope he's not listening to Fauci. I hope he's listening to somebody else. So anyway, now vitamin D3 does get down. Here's what happened when you get a virus. Now viruses are smart little things. They will actually they will actually attack your vitamin D3 receptors.
Okay.
And cause it to what they call down regulate. So basically, they're coming in and slashing their opponents and then taking over the city. And your opponents are the vitamin D3 receptors, because if your body can't absorb vitamin D3, it can't fight the virus. So you got to take even more, because the virus is continually attacking those receptors. So you got to pump in more vitamin D3, because the receptors aren't working that great.
Right.
Interesting, huh? So vitamin D3 will also increase calcium absorption. Remember, vitamin D3 is called cholecalciferol.
Right.
So there's a clue right there. That's what it does. It helps your body absorb vitamin D3, or it helps your body absorb calcium.
Right.
Now, at a certain point, if you're taking a lot of vitamin D3, like if you're taking this, now there can only be vitamin D3 toxicity if you're taking like 200 to 300, like this is 50,000. You take 100,000 or 200,000 a day for months on end or years. Now we may have a calcium issue. But that'll, first of all, who's going to do that? But you're never going to have that issue if you have vitamin K2. Why? Because as vitamin D3 helps your body absorb the calcium, first of all, it's going to throw it into the teeth, going to throw it into the bones, and then at a certain point, your body's kind of like, yeah, we're kind of full up here, and we still have some. What are we going to do? And so it just kind of floats around. It goes in your arteries, causing calcified arteries, hardening of the arteries. You don't want that. It's also going to get in your muscle tissue and cause muscle pain. So this is why we need vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is like the tour director or the GPS that tells the calcium where to go.
Okay.
That's the job of vitamin K2, and that's what we want to get into next. It ushers it to the correct parts of the body. So let us go to a slide I want to show you here. We'll show you what this is. This is what's in our supplement for vitamin D3 K2. I made it the wrong size here, so I'm going to have to just move it over here. And it'll go over our faces for a second, but that's okay. All right, so this is vitamin D3 K2. This is the back of the bottle. And essentially, you've got 5,000 of vitamin D3 and 100 of K2. And that's actually more than you need. That's pretty good. When you've got 5,000 IU of vitamin D3, you want about 50 micrograms, which is what that upside down Hg is if you've never taken chemistry class. So that's 50 micrograms of K2, 100 micrograms. But all you really need is 50. So basically it's a 100 to 1 ratio. If you got 5,000 IU vitamin D3, you want 100 micrograms of K2.
Hmm.
And that's an easy way to remember that.
Okay.
Okay, so that is what's in the bottle there. And so you'll notice that there was two types of...
Yeah. What's that all about?
Okay, so there's several different kinds of K2. I watched something a long time ago that said there could be up to 9 different kinds of vitamin
Wow.
K, K2. It's sort of split into all kinds of little subsections. And there's a MK4 and an MK7. MK4, what it is, it's like, have you ever heard of short chain and long chain fatty acids?
And medium.
Yeah, and medium chain fatty acids. Medium chain fatty acids are the best, by the way.
MCT, it's all the rage right now.
MCT oil, yeah.
Yep.
Medium chain triglycerides. That's what MCT means. Okay. So now the chain, what does the chain mean? The chain refers to, you've seen molecules drawn out on paper. The bigger the molecule, the longer the chain. There you go. Short chain, long chain. And guess which ones the body breaks down fastest?
Short?
The short ones, yeah, because there's just fewer pieces to it. It's like, think of a literal chain. Break the 2 little links of a short chain, and you've broken the chain completely. There's no more chain, right? So the chain also it takes longer for the body to break it down, right?
Correct.
For the longer the chain, the longer it takes the body to break down. So that's what the number refers to. Number 4 is the short chain. Number 7 is the long chain.
Okay.
So now, if it takes longer for the body to break it down, I'm going real logical here. This is what we do, biologics, okay? So it takes longer for the body to break it down. That means the half-life, you've heard of a half-life when we're talking about carbon dating, like a dinosaur, the half-life of this and the half-life of that.
Okay.
How long it takes for it to break down. So the short chain fatty acids and the short chain MK4 has a shorter half-life, which means it doesn't last as long. It dies quicker.
Okay.
So MK4 is in there to help vitamin D3. As soon as vitamin D3 breaks up and starts distributing in the body, that's why you'll see. I'm going to bring up that label again. You'll see that the MK4, mequinone 4, has 4,000 micrograms, right? It's a lot more than the 7. Why? Because as soon as the vitamin D3 starts to go through the body, the MK4 version of vitamin K2 will start distributing right away and distribute as much of it as fast as it possibly can.
Okay.
The MK7 is there to pick up the pieces. So anything that MK4 misses, it's there for a longer time to basically search and take those pieces of vitamin D3 and put them where they need to be over a longer period of time.
So this is a really great vitamin D3.
Oh yeah, to have MK4 and MK7 here. This is why I say Halia Diet knows what they're doing. They've got a full-time chemical engineer there who graduated from Cornell. If you know anything about Cornell and the sciences, oh my gosh, that is like the crown jewel of universities you want to go to. I mean, that's where the brainiacs come from. And Dr. Michael Donaldson is one such brainiac. I love that guy. And he's just a quiet guy. He has 14 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, they have a lot of kids. And he works from home. He's out west. He does this for Halia Diet. But his sole job is to research what is missing from a vegan diet, how will we supplement it, and what's the best way to do it, and what are the best ingredients, and where's the best place to get them. And the result is the best of the best. That's why I have always said I only have the best of the best on Laird Wellness. And Halia Diet is a big reason for that, because I learned when I worked there what it takes to do that. And Dr. Michael Donaldson is a big part of that.
And you know him personally.
And I know him personally. He's a good friend of mine.
We trust his science.
Oh, absolutely. I would trust him against anyone. I mean, he's even taken something we're going to talk about soon is water ionizers, like a Kangen machine, like things that make alkaline water. Tyant is another brand. He's actually compared them head to head, and he knows all the sciences to say which one is better and this type of thing. He's the one that figured out that Barley Max was, when it says that it is a raw product, in other words, that it has not been heated to the point where the living enzymes that truly create the life force of the barley, when those things are not destroyed, that's when you have the most living enzymes.
Yep.
He's the one that figured out that Barley Max was better than all the other products on the shelf. And we literally bought brand new ones. I was the one that went and bought them. I went and bought Amazing Grass, Garden of Life, all the popular brands. We compared them head to head.
Right.
Barley Max killed them, absolutely killed them. And every one of these claimed to be raw. And so what Michael Donaldson did was he said, okay, well, we're going to consider Barley Max the control. And we're going to say, okay, so the control has 100% enzymes, right? Because that's what you do with the control. This is the one you compare it to.
Right.
Everything else was like 40% or less living enzymes compared to. And you know the reason why is because a lot of these have a lot of other things thrown in them.
Fillers,
fillers like broccoli and beet and this and peas and all this kind of stuff. It's very, very hard to get living powders of each of those. That's why it brings it down.
Right.
So you want to stick to ones that have, just stick to Barley Max and Beet Max is the same thing. Beet Max is very high enzymes because it's only one product, very highly controllable, and it's just organic beets dried at a temperature that's not going to burn them out and kill the enzymes. How about that?
Simple.
Now, a few more things we should tell about vitamin K2. Oh, yeah, so like we said, vitamin K2 is basically like the superpower to the fuel of vitamin D3. So if vitamin D3 helps the immune system, vitamin K2 also helps with the immune system. So it's there to help vitamin D3 do everything that it does.
Right.
Now, why is it called vitamin K? You might have heard, I've heard vitamin K before. Where have I heard that? I thought it had something to do with like kale and spinach or something, and it does. So vitamin K was discovered by a German scientist, and in German, pardon me, the word for coagulation, so like to blood clot, starts with a K in German.
Interesting.
So that's why it's vitamin K. It's the coagulation vitamin. Now they called it that because that's the only thing they knew at the time when it was discovered. And forgive me, I don't remember when that was, but that's the only thing they knew that it did. But now they're finding out it has all these other things. Now here's the crazy irony of it all. Okay, I get excited about stuff like this because it makes so much sense, and then it brings to mind that only Yehovah, only God, could have created the human body. Because get this, the same vitamin that causes blood clotting will also prevent the body from blood clots.
Wow.
It keeps an absolutely perfect balance in the body. Isn't that crazy? It's amazing. Now, because of that, here's the thing. You don't want to mix pharmaceuticals with nutraceuticals, i.e. plant stuff, okay?
Right.
My dad made that mistake, and I'm afraid that's part of the reason why he passed. He was doing CBD oil because he thought it was a healthy thing. And it is a healthy thing.
It is, yep.
But he was also doing a couple of pharmaceuticals to control other things in his bloodstream. Mm-hmm. What he didn't realize is that the CBD oil it blocks, it's an enzyme blocker. It blocks an enzyme that breaks down those drugs. So there was too much of that drug floating around, and I have a feeling that's a big reason why it just, it took care of his arteries. Now, mind you, he had 85-year-old arteries.
And not to mention he had stopped walking. You know.
And he had to control some diabetes and things like that. Yeah. But that's the danger. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. That's the danger. Is that so basically, if you're taking a blood thinner, if you're taking warfarin, if you're taking what's another one?
I don't know.
Oh gosh, what's another one? Anyway, so if you're taking any kind of blood thinner, be very, very careful with vitamin K2, okay? Or eating a whole lot of green vegetables. So what you want to do is you don't want to stay off of green vegetables, and you don't want to not take vitamin D3, K2. You want to go to your doctor and say, hey doc, I'm tired of being on this drug. I want to get healthier. I want to eat a lot more greens. I want to start taking some vitamins that are good for me. Would you help me get off of this med? And if the doctor is worth his salt, he'll help you get off the med.
Absolutely.
And if he's not, get another doctor. Because people are not meant to be on drugs their whole life. For a short period of time to get over something until the doctor figures out how to fix it nutritionally, that's what doctors are supposed to do. That's what you do. That's what is supposed to be done. Lazy doctors will keep you on drugs for the rest of your life. That's not what a doctor is supposed to do. The word doctor is teacher. Okay? The word doctor is actually teacher. Teacher, rabbi, doctor. It's all the same word. So the doctor is supposed to teach you, not just give you a drug and say, next, here you go. Or here you go, next, regardless. But, like I said, drugs are good for a while, but you're supposed to get off of them.
Yeah.
And to do
Yeah.
no harm. That is the Hippocratic Oath, named for Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine from 2,000 years ago, right? First, do no harm. That is the first, well, it used to be. Guess what? In the 1960s, they took that out.
Wow.
It's no longer part of the Hippocratic Oath. But the Hippocratic Oath of a doctor worth his salt, and honest, and a doctor with integrity and truly wants to help people, doesn't like to see people on drugs. Now, sometimes the patient is lazy, and the patient wants, no, I just want to take the pill. What's the doctor going to do? Fine, here, take your pill. Go commit your own demise, whatever. You know, at a certain point, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. Okay, so if you want to change, find a doctor that wants to help you change. Okay, let's stay on the positive side of things. That's what you want to do. Okay,
let's get off that soapbox.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, I think we've covered off everything about this. So right now, let's bring back this what we were talking about here, and this is the D3K2. If you go there, that link will take you directly to the D3K2 product that we have, and right now it is 15% off. So you do not need any, you don't need any code or anything like that. You just go there. It's going to be 15% off, and go
off each.
Just the D3K2, because we've offered this other one before. We want to have you interested in this and give it a shot. That's why we're giving it 15% off. Right. So,
but if you have D levels that are really low,
yeah,
I would suggest the other one as well.
Yep, absolutely. Take that one at the same time. Take that one for, you know.
And it's so cheap. What did we say? We said last night.
Oh, this one is less than $1 a week. Is how cheap that is.
Right.
This one's a little bit more, but it's still dirt cheap. Vitamin D3 in general is dirt cheap. So just make sure you're getting it from a good source. Halea Diet, whether you get it from us or somewhere else, I would encourage you to get the Halea Diet version.
And might I add, yes, I think that D and C are super important, especially for this time of year, especially for COVID. If COVID is going to make this return that we keep hearing about, and yeah, I think that it's gone up lately. I would also suggest that you get a couple of different things, such as oregano oil and colloidal silver.
Like we do. That's what we do.
If I get any inkling of any kind of scratchy throat or loss of energy, or I know that around the gym everybody's getting sick, I will start doing that stuff, because one is an antiviral, one is an antibacterial. And you got your cases both covered.
Right. And the reason, or the way you can tell is the bacterial is the colloidal silver, because it's a biotic. It's Silver Biotics is one popular brand that we like to have. So that one, the Silver Biotics. So what we do is we take the oregano oil, because it's really strong. If you've ever done it, oh man, it's like whiskey.
It's like drinking icy hot.
Yeah, it is. It's like drinking icy hot. So what we do is we put the drops of the oregano oil into the Silver Biotics, which is basically like water. You can just swirl it around and shoot them both, and then you got it covered.
Yeah.
And then remember that vitamin C also will break up a virus. It will break up the S proteins.
Yeah. So quickly, how much vitamin C a day if you feel something coming on?
Well, I do like 3,000 a day anyway. You don't want to do a whole ton of vitamin. Here's what I would do if I were you. Okay. So I don't ever want to take too much vitamin C in a big dose, because it's just at a certain point, even the liposomal is just too much, and your body's just going to excrete the rest, and then you've wasted it. But in divided doses. So it's like, just give your body enough time to digest it. So I would do, if I was doing it, and this is what I do if I feel something coming on. I do 2,000 or 3,000 milligrams of liposomal vitamin C every 2 hours. Yes, every 2 hours. You divide it like that, it won't be too much, and it'll work like a charm.
Yeah.
And I've done that, and if I do that and I fast at the same time, wow, you will knock that sucker out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Vitamin D3K2, thank you for watching, and look at that, we didn't have to cut it short this time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week, next Thursday. Bye-bye.